The future of business belongs to those who can make the right decisions faster. And if you want to make the right decisions, you need to be collecting the right data. I've been helping companies use technology for the past 3 years, and the difference between how fast and how well a company makes decisions comes down to the type of data they collect. A lot of companies try to make data-driven decisions, but a lot of them aren't collecting enough data. And this is not something that you just set up once, but in fact, it's something that you progressively do over time. There's a client which I've worked with for, over a year now. Their data collection previously was one thing, and today it's something else completely. And even today we're working with them to try and enhance the observability of their lead pipeline. And so basically that is enabling them to understand, for example, by lead source, where do conversions drop off in their lead funnel, right? Their funnel has about 5 stages. Somebody has to apply to join their program. They understand step by step where leads drop off depending on which lead source they come in from. Then they can target their messaging to focus on that step of the funnel and things like that. And they can understand the cost per conversion by lead source and things like that, which is something that they previously didn't understand. And so, for example, they put a bunch of money into Snapchat ads, which had a really low cost per lead, but it turns out had a really high cost per conversion. And they couldn't really tell that. Now that's something that obviously they've focused on this year in kind of correcting, but being able to track that in real time and understanding these kinds of things is what lets them move faster and make better decisions. I really think like the future belongs to the companies who know how to do that best, who know how to not only make decisions from data, but collect the right data faster, which is a big thing that I think a lot of people don't think about. But even, in my company, from the very start, I started to categorize our financial data because I realized that that could later on tell me a lot of really useful things. And lo and behold, built out an Airtable, which tells me everything about my cash flow, but also about the profitability of different deals and clients. And so I can understand the kind of clients that we want to focus on and the ones that we don't. And this kind of information is invaluable to a business because the faster you can make that pivot, the faster you'll grow, and obviously the fewer resources you waste. And this is just from my experience and like what I've seen in my clients and what I've done in my own business. If I had looked at the data earlier, I would have made far more right decisions fast, and I would have grown faster if I had made those decisions prior. And I would have gotten to those conclusions and kind of like where to focus my resources. I should have been looking at the numbers the whole time. And sometimes the numbers point to things that you have to figure out, which are sometimes uncomfortable to face as a founder, as a business leader, whatever it is. But that's why you want to look at the numbers, because it reduces the amount of time that you're wasting. Whereas I know that I spent a lot of time working on things that shouldn't have been the business priority, to be honest, and the numbers would have pointed me elsewhere. And so if I had looked at those earlier, I would have been further. Even though I did have some numbers early on, I didn't look at them enough. Even in my clients, I see that they want to track more numbers and more analyses. We've started to build a lot of dashboards into our clients' applications, and those are really the most useful ones, but you have to know which questions to ask as well. Just tracking things pointlessly is going to be really hard to know which things to track. So you have to ask, what questions are you fundamentally trying to answer, and how do we build a dashboard or analytics around that? So for example, in marketing, you might ask, okay, where should my marketing spend go? And then you want to understand your different lead sources and the revenue channels. If you want to understand about, for example, you probably should know in a business which revenue channels are the most profitable, so you can understand which one is actually your cash cow. That's probably where you want to focus your resources in getting people to ascend to that particular product. But this is all in the data, and if you don't look at the data, you have no idea, you're flying blind. Anyway, my company is actually doing some free workshops, so if you're curious about that kind of stuff, feel free to sign up below, but comment any questions if you have them as well.